just made the list.
The doctor will see you now.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around the Ring. I am your co-host, Justin Hensley. Joining me, as always, is Steve Long. Steve, how's it going?
It's going well. How have you been doing?
Pretty good. Tired.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on, unfortunately.
yeah. It's been a crazy week.
Yeah. We skipped a week here.
We did. The Dynamite being on Saturday has kind of messed up our schedule. But we were both able to actually watch Dynamite from yesterday. But good news is it's back on its Wednesday schedule this week.
I'm so happy it's back on Wednesdays. I hate these Saturday Dynamites. Like, even last year when they were doing them during the NBA finals, like I couldn't stand it. And it's welcome. I mean, that's the good thing about them going to TBS is that shouldn't be an issue going forward. So
right.
Looking forward to that.
So we're kind of having a what do you want to call it? Kind of like an odds and ends episode today.
Yeah, it's kind of like a catch-up episode.
Yeah, a little bit.
I've watched a lot of wrestling over the last 2 weeks, but not a lot of complete cards. And it's a little bit from everything currently.
Yeah. So, I've watched wrestling over the past week. I'm caught up on Rampage and Dynamite because I did watch last week's. I think you had mentioned you didn't get a chance to watch last week's yet.
Yeah. I missed last week's Dynamite. And I heard it was a really good one. I kind of wished I'd watched it.
Did you at least get a chance to watch the buy-in?
I did.
Okay.
I watched the buy-in live.
That's good.
Oh, absolutely incredible.
That was some good stuff. So this week we got the finish of the G1 Climax, which we can talk about in a bit. But I thought there was a couple of headlines that might be worth mentioning. One is, I know it's probably old news by now, but I did want to at least mention and get your thoughts on this idea of a potential AEW streaming deal, where, we've got, it's in the talks for, Tony Khan's been talking about it, about getting a streaming service so that we could go and watch old episodes of Dynamite and some of the old pay-per-views. Seems like they're trying to kind of do what the WWE network was before it went to Peacock.
Yeah. I guess it's not a bad idea to go ahead and set up a streaming service. It seems kind of early to me, but also at the same time, Ring of Honor has their own streaming service. Impact has their own. WWE's on the Peacock app. I mean, I could see AEW having, because Warner Brothers owns TNT. Is that right?
I believe so.
If that's the case, then I could see AEW being on HBO Max. I think that would be a good spot for them because then a lot of people have HBO Max.
I thought from what I read based on that, it was going to be like its own thing.
Standalone?
Like WWE Network was. I could be wrong though. But I mean, if that is the case, they can have my money. I will give it to them freely. Because there are some pay-per-views that I didn't get to see. So I'd love to go back and see some of those. And I'm, there are plenty of Dynamite episodes that I missed, just because I missed them. I mean, there was a time period where I wasn't watching like really anything, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to try getting caught up. I'm just going to watch and hope I can figure out the storylines. And it was pretty easy to get back into it and watch those. But yeah, I'd really like to go back and watch some of that stuff because you can't really do it now.
Yeah. Because how far back does the TNT app go?
That I don't know. All I do is check the new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be useful, too, to have something like Dark in the same place.
Yeah.
As the pay-per-views and the Dynamites and Rampages. Yeah. And he's talked about having that one live show that they did. They did a house show that supposedly was really good, but he filmed it, but it didn't air anywhere, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure. If it's at a good price point, too, I think a lot of people will very willingly sign up.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. But other than that, we did have a pay-per-view this past weekend. Impact held their Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which I actually planned on watching because Bound for Glory is a pay-per-view that I generally do enjoy. I just didn't get around to ordering it. Well, I probably wouldn't have had time to watch it anyway. But they had their Bound for Glory event that was in Las Vegas, I believe, and 6 title change happened.
Oh wow!
And a new title was crowned.
That's the Digital Media Championship, correct?
Right, and that one was won by. I was just reading this. Jordan Grace.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it is cool that it's an intergendered title. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So Jordan Grace was crowned the first Impact Digital Media Champion. The main event, Christian Cage was defeated by Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship. But Alexander's reign didn't last very long at all because also at Bound for Glory, there was an intergender call your shot gauntlet match. Who the winner of that got a shot at whatever title they wanted. Moose won that match and cashed it in that night and defeated Josh Alexander. So Moose is your Impact World Champion.
That's disappointing. I mean, I don't have anything against Moose. I really don't have anything against Moose. Right. But I was really looking forward to the idea of a Josh Alexander Impact Championship.
So was I. I thought he would do a good. He'd be a good face of the company. But I think the fact that Moose that they waited this long to put the belt on him is kind of surprising. So it's I think it's a good thing that they put the belt on him. Now, speaking of Josh Alexander, the title that he vacated so that he could have this championship match, they had their tournament finals, and the new X Division champion of Impact is Trey Miguel.
Okay, yeah. Trey Miguel was one part of. Oh, what was the name of their tag team? The two guys are in the WWE now. Trey Miguel was left out. Oh, I am blanking on their names.
Yeah,
they used to do like the smoke, the treehouse thing, or whatever they called that. Oh, that's disappointing that I'm not.
I'm trying to remember what it was. The Rascals.
Yes, the Rascals. That's who they were. Yeah. Did I just see that the Demon appeared at Impact Bound for Glory?
No, not that Demon. Not that Demon. It was Dale Tolberg. Tolborg. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking. I see a picture of him, right? The demon from Kiss.
Yeah.
Dale Torberg.
Yeah. It wasn't.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. He was.
Well, good for him.
There were some other surprise entrants or appearances at Bound for Glory. Melina was actually a part of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match.
Oh, nice.
Also a part of that match was we're going to be talking about New Japan here in a bit, but this is it was an appearance by New Japan Pro Wrestling star Rocky Romero.
That makes sense. He's kind of like the liaison for New Japan and English speaking countries. So yeah, he makes sense.
So another there were two other title changes at Bound for Glory. The first one was the Knockouts Championship. Deonna Purrazzo lost the belt to Mickie James. That kind of surprised me. I did not think they were going to take the belt off of Deonna.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. I wonder if this is to strengthen that connection that Impact has with NWA.
Could be.
Because she's been heavily involved in both currently. Yeah.
So the other championship that changed hands, this one actually didn't surprise me, but I'm still a little disappointed about it. And that is in regard to the Knockouts Tag Team Championship, who previously was held by Decay, and they were defeated by a team who this was their very first match in Impact. And I, of course, am referring to the Inspiration. I've got nothing against that team. I just personally do not think they should have won a title in their first match. Like they have done no work to get to that level in this company.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the strengths of AEW is the emphasis on records and making sure that in storyline, it makes sense how someone can even get a title shot.
Yeah.
Like Bryan Danielson having to work his way through the card, getting victories. So I get it. But also it seems like they were kind of trying to make a statement by having every single title change. That was all of them, correct?
Yeah. No, actually, there was another title match where the title was not changed, and that would be the Impact Tag Team Champions. The Good Boys retained their championship.
The Good Brothers.
Yeah, against Finn Juice and Bullet Club.
Chris Bay and Higuleo.
Right.
So I see that as New Japan is going to want those guys back soon. So
possibly.
I could see that being the reason why neither one of them won. Though there was the rumor, or there was like the tease that Carl Anderson was going to go to New Japan. So
again, are you going back, huh? I wouldn't have a problem with that. They had a pretty good run there before they left for WWE.
Yeah. Carl was definitely he was on the ascent for sure during that time period. Like he even had a decent little singles run. I think he had some pretty well-regarded G1 match. I'm not sure who against, but he did really well that year. Do you think there's anything worth like really going and watching though from this show?
From Bound for Glory?
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't want to trash a promotion that I actually like. But just based off of what I've read, probably not really. Maybe the championship match. I would have. I like to watch Josh Alexander.
Yeah, he's really good.
I might Well, I'm not going to pay for the whole pay-per-view just to watch that match, though.
Right, right.
I would kind of like to watch that, but like we mentioned, I just don't have time for all the wrestling I really want to watch. And since I got started watching New Japan, something had to go, and unfortunately, it was Impact that had to go. So I was enjoying New Japan a lot more. And
now that the G1 is over, though, you may have a little bit more free time when it comes
little
to
bit, yeah.
not as time consuming as
I did try. Now that the G1 is over, I did try to start watching some episodes of Strong just to see how that is. And I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but my initial thoughts are don't think I'm going to enjoy that as much as I do. Let's just call it regular New Japan.
Yeah.
But I will give it some time. I'm going to try like the last, like they hold a show every Saturday, I think. Strong does. So I was watching last week's. I think I'm going to try to go back and watch the main event because I did watch a little bit of it and I just kind of lost interest. It's the main event was Will Ospreay and don't remember his last name. The guy he was fighting. It's not a name I'd ever heard. But I'm not super familiar with Ospreay's work, so that's why I wanted to watch it. I know the name. I'm not super familiar with him. I do know that he was the champion. And then I know the little drama that happened there, but I'm not super familiar with his work, and I wanted to watch that. I'll probably go back and watch that just to try to get a little bit more familiar with his work. Or I'll just go back and watch some of his New Japan stuff. I don't know. Probably be better. But speaking of New Japan,
let's talk about it.
Yeah, we've got another pay-per-view coming up here in November 6th. We have Power Struggle coming, and we have a lineup for that now.
Should we talk about the G1 before we talk about the lineup for Power Struggle?
That actually probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So I actually got caught up with the whole G1 tournament. I was pretty impressed with myself that I was able to watch all of that.
You watched way more than I did this year. This is the first year in like 3 or 4 years that I haven't watched every single G1 match. So this I was way behind this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. It was a good, I think, introduction for me into New Japan. I did get there was a lot of folks in there that I was not familiar with that got me more interested as time progressed. But as we said on a previous show, it was really Kenta that got me into the whole thing because he was always one of my favorites back when he was in NXT and 205 Live and all that, and he's great. He did not make the finals, which while unfortunate, I did not expect him to go to the finals. Right. But he did have a good match at the finals. He was in a tag match, and let me look up that tag match because I can't remember who all was in that match. Excuse me.
That would be actually have the New Japan card pulled up right here.
Okay. Yeah, it was Bullet Club. It was Kenta, Chase Owens, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa against Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tiger Mask, Togi Makabe. I probably pronounced that wrong.
Togi Makabe. Yeah.
And So Bullet Club won that match, and I would have to say it was probably one of my favorite matches of the final.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that, I think, has to do with enjoying the most of the Bullet Club team that was in that match. I mean, of course, Kenta, and then Tonga and Tanga are two that I've started to really enjoy watching over the course of the G1. Not really a huge fan of Chase Owens, to be honest, but
Yeah.
but the interesting result that came out of this match was that Kenta challenged for the United States Championship. So we'll be seeing that in the future.
Yeah, I believe did Kenta defeated Tanahashi in a match during the G1? Is that correct? Or are they in different cards? Or are they in different blocks?
That's a very good question. I thought they were in different blocks, but
They
I
might
could
have
be
been.
wrong.
You're right. Yeah. I think
Let's see.
yeah, they were in different blocks. Oh, okay. So, well, Kenta is kind of like Bullet Club is so large currently that there are these different leaders almost.
There's like different offshoots. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kenta is like one of the leaders of the group, while Jay White's here in the United States. And then when anything that doesn't involve Evil, I guess isn't really necessarily the leader of Bullet Club, but
I think he's kind of, isn't he part of House of Torture?
right. It's like a subsect within the Bullet Club. Yeah.
Because that is the one that Show is also in.
That's right. He joined Bullet Club as well.
Yeah. And they had a tag match earlier that evening. They defeated Chaos.
Mm-hmm. Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi. Yep.
Yeah. So these finals matches, these matches that were in the final, were my introduction into tag matches in New Japan, because I hadn't watched any of those yet. And some of them were pretty interesting, but I'm not sure any other way to put this, but I actually think I like the tag division in AEW better than New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan's approach to tag team is less defined teams. Yeah. It's very much just people within a faction will team together.
It's all factions versus factions. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Chaos, Bullet Club, Los Ingobernables. What is the one with Jeff Cobb's, like the United Empire?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's United Empire is him and Great Khan.
And then there's Suzuki-gun, and I think that's all the actual big groups. Then there's like the other people who aren't necessarily part of any groups.
Right.
And there's the Young Lions too.
Yeah. So before we get into talking about the actual final match, there was a pretty big surprise that came in the middle of this final, and it was a pleasant surprise, and it was a pretty good match. And of course, I'm referring to the exhibition match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata.
Katsuyori Shibata.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was just scrolling through Facebook, and then I saw that Shibata had appeared in New Japan and had an exhibition match. Yeah. And I immediately texted you. I was like, "Oh my God, Shibata's back!" And you were just cool. I don't know who that is.
Yeah. I had no idea who Shibata was, but on your suggestion, I did go back and watch some matches.
Oh yeah, what did you watch?
I couldn't tell you. I watched a bunch of random ones. I did a search for Shibata matches, and yeah. So this was a grappling rules match.
Yeah, so it was a 5-minute exhibition match under UWF rules, which I'm not sure what the rules were when it comes to that. But it's a fully grappling style match. I think this was done. So, okay, for those who are unfamiliar with Shibata, he suffered a debilitating brain hemorrhage after a very hard headbutt to Kazuchika Okada at Sakura Genesis, I believe in 2017, and he finished the match. The match was phenomenal. It's one of my all-time favorite matches, but because that injury happened, he was basically forced to retire. His life was pretty much at risk. There was like a 17% chance of him surviving it, and thankfully he did. He came out a few years ago he came out, said, "I am alive" to the audience. You know, I think he did like a flat back bump. He just like flopped on his back just to show that he is alive and he can do stuff. He was given the head coach role in the Los Angeles dojo, which is where a lot of the strong guys are currently training. I believe they film it there as well. He is also the one responsible for bringing Kenta back into New Japan because Shibata and Kenta were tag team partners in Noah, I believe. So they had a history together. Then Kenta wound up turning on Shibata, which was just, everyone was just shocked by that because, like, how dare you attack Shibata? He is he's a man who cannot wrestle. Shibata did manage to like drop kick him in the face one time, so that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
I'm checking my my search history. One of the matches I watched was appears to, let's see, did I watch that one? Yeah, it was actually a Ring of Honor match between him and Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, nice. I bet that was really good.
So yeah, it was good. There's another one that I watched where he wrestled Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good. And I also watched, it actually wasn't a Shibata match, but it was the match where Kenta joined Bullet Club.
Okay, yeah.
And Shibata did get involved in that match, and he and Kenta traded many blows.
Yeah. A lot of people never expected him to return. This was kept a secret. Like, no one knew this was going to happen. Apparently even the announce team didn't know this was going to happen, or if they did, they acted like they didn't in a very convincing fashion. It was 5 minutes, and at the end of it I was just like, no, give us more.
Yeah.
So this is way too short.
So it ended in a time limit draw, which I think was a good idea because it didn't make either guy look weak.
Right.
And it was a good match. If you're into that grappling style, it's definitely a match worth watching. And those are some good matches sometimes if you got the right people in them.
Yeah. Zack Sabre Jr. is like the perfect wrestler for that style of match. I think it says a lot about Zack Sabre Jr. that, one, Shibata wanted to work with him, and two, that New Japan trusted him with Shibata, that he wouldn't hurt him in that match. Yeah. I think at the end of the match, it was a time limit draw. Shibata said the next time you see him in the ring, it will be a full match, and that he took a flat back bump to show that he can do it still.
Yeah. Be interesting to see him go up against Kenta.
Yeah, that's the one that's been brewing for a while anyway. So yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. has been taunting Shibata for a long time too. I hope that this turns into a Bryan Danielson or an Edge situation or a Christian Cage situation where like they thought their careers were over and then they made them, a comeback. So I sincerely hope we get to see this in a real match soon.
Yeah. So before I forget, speaking of the G1, our top 5 this week actually is 5 wrestlers that we'd like to see in the G1 from any promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And the stipulation was that it has to be somebody that has not been in a G1 before.
I didn't double check my picks to make sure they hadn't. I was pretty sure they hadn't, but
yeah,
I guess I should double check that before officially saying, but it's fine. I've never seen them if they have.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the actual final match?
Yes, that's what we're coming up to next. We have the actual finals match between the A block winner, who was Kota Ibushi, versus the B block winner, which was Okada.
Yes. Everyone kind of expected this to be at least Okada to be in the final. I think a lot of people expected Ibushi to be in there as well. He's kind of their one of their stars, their top guys for sure.
Yeah.
And with the injury of Naito, who knows what this did to the outcome, but I predicted Okada was going to win the whole thing overall. Pretty.
Yeah, I was actually hoping that Okada would win it. However, that being said, I did not expect him or want him, for that matter, to see him win in the way that he did.
Yeah. So this G1, I think, is going to go down in history as one of the most disappointing G1s. So a lot of people were very down on this year's G1. I don't agree that there was a bad G1, but at the same time, there are things. Okay, number one, in New Japan, the audiences are not allowed to cheer. Basically, they have limited capacity in those arenas. This is all pandemic related.
I was going to actually ask you about that, and I didn't know. So it was pandemic related. Because I'd noticed that they had mentioned a few times that they're not allowed to clap, and I'm like, why is that?
Yeah, they're allowed to clap and they're allowed to stomp, but they're not allowed to cheer or yell because the idea is that you project COVID if you're yelling. So,
gotcha. Okay.
So it's been basically close to over a year and a half, close to 2 years in January, or February, where we've not been able to have cheering audiences in New Japan. So that makes these shows harder to enjoy. Part of New Japan's appeal for me personally is the audience is a very unique style of audience. While they are not as loud and vocal as American audiences are, or say like, Mexico, Europe, Canada, they have their own particular way of vocalizing that is so unique. The audiences sit quietly for a majority of the matches. They will only they will cheer for stuff they enjoy. My favorite thing is when they do like a gasp, like the entire audience just gasps. It's just a truly wonderful sound. They'll shout out wrestlers' names, but it's all very much about we are focusing. We are watching this match. We are respecting the people in the match. I love their atmosphere, and it's been very stifled since COVID. That being said, the B block was not considered great. It was one of the weaker blocks that they've put together in recent years. The G1 started the first night with an injury, with Naito being limited due to injury. And we ended the finals with injury.
With an injury. So if you don't already know, the reason that Okada won is that Ibushi was injured and the ref stopped the fight. So the move that he was trying to do, I want to say it was like wasn't it a Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix Splash.
Phoenix Splash. And from what I understand, he broke, or not broke, he didn't break anything. He dislocated either his shoulder or his elbow. I haven't heard any update on that or read any update, but it was one of those two. He dislocated something. And then the referee, of course, stopped the fight, which of course is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But it was disappointing because up to that point, it was actually a really good match.
Yeah. It had gone 25 minutes up to that point.
Yeah.
And which was shocking. When I heard that number, I was like, that was 25 minutes, because it was flying by for me personally.
Yeah, it really was. It did not seem like it was 25 minutes long. It was fun to watch. You get these two guys in a match together. I mean, okay, throughout the entire tournament, I did not see any Okada match that I didn't enjoy, because he's just amazing. Put him to work with anybody, and he can make it look good. So you got two guys that really on the same page. You can make either one of them can make somebody else look good. So you've got two guys like that in a match together. They're going to make each other look good. And it was just a great match. I mean, it was I don't know.
You could tell too that an Okada match is very much designed in a way that, yes, it's a longer match, but they're building matches. Like, they continue to get faster paced and more harder hitting as the matches go on. And you could tell that this match was getting to that peak. Like, it wasn't there yet. I think there was going to be a series of moves after that was going to be like the true like climax of the G1 Climax.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that injury just is so awfully timed. Ibushi clearly did not want to actually stop the match. I commend Red Shoes for stopping it, though, because a wrestler's safety is far more important than
absolutely
an outcome of a match.
I don't think Okada wanted it to end.
No, his face at the end of that match, where they were just waiting and deciding on, what to do. And he very much was not happy either. Concerned for sure. At the post-match promo that he cut, he asked New Japan to allow him and Kota Ibushi to fight again whenever he's well. So hopefully that they've fought each other quite a few times in the past, but I think we need Ibushi's going to now need his like return match for this. So
yeah. I mean, there were some pretty cool spots in that match. I mean, they had the when which one was it? Hit the other one on the ramp with a DDT. I think it was Okada that first he performed a drop kick on Ibushi and sent him to the floor, and then hit him with a DDT. But there was some pretty good spots in that match, and it just kind of ended in a disappointing way. I think, like I said, the finale or the finishing would have been a lot more climactic, I guess you could say. But yeah, Okada had some interesting things to say after the match.
Some strange comments. So I talked to you a little bit about this, about the weirdness of Okada's ending. Yeah. So for those who didn't see, he basically considered he does not regard the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship to be the actual championship. So prior to this year, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship were separate titles. Kota Ibushi unified them into a single title, which is now the World Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
Okada does not recognize the World Heavyweight Championship. He is now saying that because he beat Kota Ibushi, who was the last heavyweight champion, that he, while he's not going to call himself the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, he still considers himself the champion.
Yeah.
So,
like, weren't there also some remarks that he made about, and maybe somebody else had said this, but the fact that he won the G1 was more important.
Yes. Yeah, he did make that statement. He wanted, because he viewed the G1 as the winners of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Because we do have the best of the Super Juniors coming up soon.
When is that?
It's right after Power Struggle.
Okay.
So it's the World Tag League and the best of Super Juniors. It's a combined tour. They're both block tournaments, round robin tournaments. So we have plenty to watch in November and December.
That works for me, you know.
So he basically says that he is not going to challenge Shingo Takagi. Shingo Takagi has to challenge him.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting. So on the subject of New Japan, we do have Power Struggle coming up. Like I mentioned, we do have a card that was announced. We're going to have a couple of young lions. We've got Fujita, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name, so I apologize. Oiwa.
Yeah, Ryohei Oiwa.
Royaway, yeah. And they are going to face Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Doki.
Yep, they are members of Suzuki-gun.
Okay.
And those are Young Lions.
So that'll be the first match. The next one will be another tag match. We're going to have...
it is Tiger Mask
the Great Bash heel team.
Yep, Togi Makabe and Tamaki Hanma. They will be going up against Jado, Gedo, and Tangaloa of the Bullet Club. Interesting.
So is it not going to be the actual Gorillas of Destiny?
No,
in this match?
It's not, because at the top of the card.
Right. Okay. So then another tag match is going to be Master Wato, Taguchi, and Yugi Nagata will be going up against Sanada, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi.
Yeah. I mean, I love Yuji Nagata. He's one of my all-time favorites in New Japan. I don't see them winning against.
That was a guy who I wasn't really all that interested in at first. When I first started watching him, I was like, "What is this guy doing in wrestling? He looks ancient." But he puts on a show.
He is
good.
If you may remember him from the WCW days, he actually wrestled in the cruiserweight division with Sonny Ono was his manager.
Okay.
He's also a former heavyweight NJPW heavyweight champion. He was considered part of, they call it the fourth generation, which includes Kojima and Tenzan.
Okay.
So like they were basically like the top guys for the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
And Nagata, honestly, Nagata and Shibata, they had a match at Dominion one year. And that match is the reason why I'm a New Japan fan, because that match was just absolutely incredible.
Very cool. So the next match on the card is a never open weight 6-man tag team championship between Chaos and House of Torture. So I'm not sure I understand what the never open weight thing is. Is that like another division within New Japan, or?
So New Japan, they kind of follow weight classes. There's the heavyweight division and the light heavyweight or junior heavyweight division, which they have singles titles and tag titles under those. There's 3 tag team titles in New Japan. So there's the heavyweight, the junior heavyweight, and the never open weight. So the never open weight is literally anyone of any weight class can be
so
in those matches.
Gotcha. Okay.
The never singles title is considered, it's just more like hard hitting stiff matches, like the never tag is just something for 3-man tag teams to do something. I see House of Torture winning this match. The never title changes hands all the time. It's not one that there's ever been like a super long run in the tag team division.
Okay. So the next one is another championship match, if you can call it that. And it is Toru Yano putting up his KOPW trophy up against Great Okan. I gotta say, Yano is one of those that throughout the G1 Climax tournament just really grew on me because he was just so entertaining to watch. He's hilarious.
I love Yano matches.
Yeah.
I know people like Dave Meltzer are not necessarily fans of his. I think they get hung up on the logic of those matches, and it's just it's not, a Yano match is not meant to be the most logical. It's a comedy match. It's meant to be entertaining, just for fun.
It's an entertaining match, and he definitely does the job. So I'm looking forward to this match, seeing this one.
Yeah, I imagine Yano's going to retain because he's basically held that King of Pro Wrestling trophy forever. So,
so the next match is another championship match. This is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Robbie Eagles, who is the current champion, will be placing his title up against El Desperado. So El Desperado is not a name I'm familiar with, except that he was in a lot of the Young Lion matches.
Yeah, he's a member of Suzuki-gun. He is a Japanese wrestler who wears a luchador mask. He's not someone I love. I don't love his matches. But he's also someone who has grown a lot as a singles wrestler. He tagged a lot with Yoshinobu Kanemaru quite a bit. I believe they've been tag champs together a few times.
Yeah.
And so like now he's kind of branching out on his own. We're going to see during the Best of the Super Juniors, we're going to see both of these men have lots of matches on their own too. So you'll get familiar with Desperado very quickly.
Okay. Good job. So the next match on the card is actually probably the one I'm most looking forward to. And that is the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship title match that pits the defending Hiroshi Tanahashi against Kenta. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. I would like to see Kenta win this one, but I am not going to get my hopes up.
I think if I had to guess, I believe Tanahashi is going to retain because there was the chance for Tanahashi and Jon Moxley to face off. And that kind of fell through because they needed Tanahashi back in Japan for the G1. and they wanted him to have a little bit of a reign before he went and fought Moxley again. So I think Tanahashi's going to retain just for that purpose alone.
Yeah. So while I'm thinking about these matches, the one of the wrestlers we mentioned for one of the earlier matches here was Nagata, and or not? No, it wasn't Nagata. I'm trying to think who was the wrestler that he fought at All Out? Moxley. It was Kojima.
Yeah.
Okay. It was not Nagata. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was. I was trying to remember who it was, and I was trying to remember where I had seen Nagata before, and
he wrestled. You know what? Nagata wrestled Moxley too. Was that a Dynamite? It might have been a Dynamite.
I don't remember. It might have been.
Yeah.
In any case,
have. Yeah.
Yeah. So the not the main event. The next match on the Power Struggle card is Okada versus Tama Tonga.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. I'm just looking at faces, and I'm like, it's one of those guys.
Yeah.
They are brothers, aren't they?
They are. They are Haku's sons.
Yes.
And Hikuleo is their other brother who is in Impact currently.
He's in Impact, yeah. He was actually in a New Japan Strong match on the most recent episode that I watched, not the most recent episode, but so yeah, they've got a match, and then the main event is Shingo defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Zack Sabre Jr., which I find a little bit odd, considering Zack Sabre Jr. just did not win the G1.
So I was going to bring this up. There's actually a reason for this. So usually every single year, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion will lose a match or two during the G1 Climax. And usually what that then does is gives that person who beat them a title shot.
Okay.
So Zack Sabre Jr. beat Shingo. And that's the reason why Tama Tonga is also facing Okada, is because he beat him in one of the G1 matches. So it's funny, like if you pin the champion during the G1 Climax, it almost doesn't matter if you win, because then you get a title shot.
Yeah.
And that being said, that title usually does not change hands at Power Struggle.
Yeah.
So, because clearly the story is Shingo and Okada is like the direction that the story is going. So
yeah, I don't see Zack Sabre Jr. winning this one.
No, it'll be a great match though.
Yeah, it will. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna wait watching Power Struggle. I'm probably not gonna watch Road to Power Struggle.
Yeah, the Road 2 shows are usually just tag team matches leading up to it.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of them. There are 9 days of them.
Yeah, I might catch a few, but I think I'm not gonna watch anymore until probably Power Struggle.
Yeah, like looking at the card, like I can see the matches that happened already on the first Road 2, and it's it's tag matches. It's really what it's tag matches. Where the members of the factions will fight each other leading up to the main, actual Power Struggle show. So
yeah,
they're fun. And it's basically the idea in New Japan is more of tours. It's more for the live audiences than it is more so than for broadcast. They do broadcast them, but
yeah. So I guess that's pretty much all we have to talk about in regards to New Japan. So do you want to talk about what happened in AEW this week?
Yeah.
Talk
You know,
about
we
talk
missed a
about few of
bit.
those matches. Yeah, we did.
We missed the buy. We missed talking about the buy-in. At this point, it's kind of old news, so there's not really any real big point to talk about the buy-in and the last week Dynamite and Rampage. But I will say that Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki is one of my top favorite matches of the year.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was awesome. I'm really, and this isn't a specific match to refer to, but I'm really enjoying the entry or the signing rather of Bobby Fish.
Oh yeah, he's been having some really great matches lately.
Yeah. And based on what we saw on, I want to say it was Dynamite. I watched both of them pretty much in the very close to each other. So some of the Rampage and the Dynamite stuff is kind of blending together. But it was Dynamite where he fought Green, and at the end, somebody else kind of got involved, and be interesting to see what that's going to amount to.
I'm actually blanking on who that person was.
CM Punk.
Oh, that's right. That's
that's
there's a thing that happened in that show that kind of like took a little bit of my enjoyment out of that show.
Sure. Well, how about we start with Rampage? Were there any matches specifically from Rampage that you wanted to discuss?
So with Rampage, the only match I watched was Pac versus Andrade El Idolo.
Okay.
I read and heard on other podcasts that this was a match to watch. Go find it and watch it. And I was very happy to see this match because I loved their last match. I wasn't happy 100% with the finale of that match with the interference by Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah.
So I was very happy to see them have a one-on-one, no interference allowed. This is just going to be these two guys destroying each other. And this match was phenomenal. Incredible match between these two.
Oh, yeah. They've got some great chemistry together. And I really like this feud they've got going on with these two.
Yeah.
This was, if you like any type of wrestling, you're going to enjoy this match. I mean, it's, you got some violence going on, you got some high flying going on, of course, with Pac. And then you had, toward the end of the match, you had some, you had somebody getting in the ring that wasn't supposed to be there, of course, with Malachi Black. And this was a really good match, and I was glad to see this rivalry continue.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue even more based on what we saw.
So I gotta say, the spot that I remember most of all from this match is when Pac or no, it wasn't Pac. It was I think it was either. Now, see, this is how bad my memory is. It was either Andrade or Pac. It was definitely Andrade because I had never seen him do this kind of thing. He did like this kind of corkscrew dive over the rope and hit Pac. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the tornado. It's a pretty famous move in Lucha Libre. It's like a move that a lot of guys do. It's like a twirling motion, basically.
Yeah, and it's not something I've ever seen Andrade do.
No, I hadn't seen him do that before either. So, if I had, it was like NXT a long time ago.
Yeah, so I thought that was very very cool. That was a very cool spot there. And this was a perfect main event. This was from the very beginning, it just kind of, they had that stare down, and Yeah, it was just a good match. I want to see this rivalry continue, and I really don't see any reason why it should stop right now, especially when they've got they're starting to team up with
Yeah,
you know.
that's interesting.
Then you've got the Pinnacle involved, and yeah, it's gonna be a story that's gonna go for a while, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yep. So Dynamite, you watched all of that, right?
I did.
Okay.
I watched it. Actually, watched it live last night. I
very good.
managed to pull up a stream for it. I was like, you know what? I'm home and I can actually watch this tonight. So
Very good. Very good.
I followed along as it happened.
Yeah, there were actually a few good matches worth watching, but I mean, I don't know how you want to do this, but we can narrow it down to a few.
Yeah, there were 3 really standout matches for me. The bookends of the show, and then the one that stand out for negative reasons.
Yeah.
But the show opened up with the men's world title eliminator tournament match between Bryan Danielson and Dustin Rhodes.
Yes. Two incredible wrestlers. They came out and shook hands. They've got that incredible respect for one another, and then they just went at it.
It was shockingly good.
Yes.
I love Dustin Rhodes. I've grown to appreciate him. I actually, while he was still in the WWE on his last Goldust run, I was like, you know what? This guy's been around forever. He's been doing this gimmick so well. Like I grew to really love and appreciate Goldust. And then when he left, and the program with his brother, with Cody, was one of the highlights of the company.
Yeah. I was. I think that was, if I remember correctly, that was Cody's first 5-star match.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it was.
It was masterful storytelling, and for a while there, Cody matches were phenomenal. Like they were just like outstanding. And I will say too, he doesn't have bad matches now, so it's more of a presentation issue, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah, the thing about Dustin is he's got these things that he does that are, they're Dustin things. Like you compare when other people do it to like his power slam. Like his
power slam.
Yeah, whenever you see somebody do a power slam, it's like, it wasn't a Dustin Rhodes power slam, but it was pretty good. So there's those, and then the the uppercut that he does as he hits the I think, I could be wrong, but I think he and Cody are the only ones that do that.
Yeah, it seems like, I guess Dustin created that move. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. There could be someone he saw it from first, but that move looks amazing.
Yeah, we did get to see both his power slams and his uppercuts there. And then there was, of course, when he tried to do the uppercut and Bryan Danielson caught it. He kind of got out of it. There's a lot. I mean, although personally I knew that Dustin was not going to win this, there were times that I actually thought, is he actually going to win? Like when he did that superplex.
Yeah.
And brought Danielson down. I was like, oh my gosh, is he actually going to win? Oh, nope, I guess not. But it was a good match to watch if you enjoy either one of these wrestlers, even if you don't.
I was going to say, even if you don't think you enjoy Dustin Rhodes' matches, he is a much older gentleman. He's been wrestling for a very long time. He looks amazing here. I honestly think this might be his best match, his best technical match that he's had in years at this point.
Yeah, it was a really good match. And I mean, as much as he's an older fella, he can he can still hold his own against some of the best.
Yeah.
And this one, Bryan Danielson is one of the best, so he definitely held his own very well in this one. And then I think the next match I just say it real quick. Bobby Fish versus Anthony Green. I like that match. I like to watch Bobby Fish do his thing. He's got a good, clean, old style, old style wrestling style. He's got his combat, his MMA combat style wrestling.
He has a really unique move set.
He pairs it up with a good modern wrestling move set too. So I enjoy watching Bobby Fish matches. Those are good.
I was surprised when they announced that match and it was him against Anthony Green, and I was like, really? Why? I mean, why I love Bobby Fish, but why Anthony Green? But it's clearly just to set up this CM Punk angle, which I'm very looking forward to that.
If that's going to produce a feud between him and CM Punk, that's going to, if that's going to be a long-standing feud, we're going to get to see some really great matches. Those are going to be fun to watch.
It's also worth mentioning there was the women's TBS championship tournament match as well. It was Penelope Ford versus Ruby Soho. Ruby, of course, won. But they're doing the TBS women's championship tournament different because the top 4 or 5 women in the women's division ranked get buys, which I thought was surprising.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird. Especially when you've got, I don't want to trash her. She's a good wrestler. She's new, and I'm referring to, oh geez, now I can't even think of her name.
Penelope?
No. She didn't wrestle.
Oh
man, and I got her name on the tip of my tongue.
Velvet?
No. She's jeez.
No, I'm just like, who else is there?
Gosh, what? I'm gonna think of it here in a second. Jade Cargill. She gets a bye, but I really don't understand that because she's ranked because she's undefeated, but is she really ready to be in a title picture? I mean, storyline wise, sure, but she's still kind of green. If you watch her matches, it's still kind of, there's some clunky spots here and there. And
they put her in matches too where she tends to squash whoever she's in a match with usually. Mm-hmm. So it's to kind of, I guess, hide some of those weaknesses that she has. She does have a unique look and approach and character even.
Yeah.
So I guess they're like, there's so much potential here. But yeah, maybe as far as ring work, she's not quite ready for that yet.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I don't think, and I could be wrong, we're going to find out here in the next few weeks, I don't think she's going to win the championship.
I could see her going to the finals. Just because they want to, give her that boost. Yeah. But yeah, I don't necessarily see her winning. I genuinely have no idea who's going to win this.
So you don't have any predictions?
I don't know.
I've got a prediction, but
okay.
Should I say it this early in the tournament?
Sure. Why not?
I think Ruby's going to win the championship.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to treat this championship. I guess my wondering is this going to be viewed as more of a mid-level card type championship? If so, then I see someone like Serena Deeb maybe winning it.
I could see that. Yeah.
But also it could be a thing where it's like, no, they're basically top women wrestlers. There's just more than one title. Yeah. So, I don't know. Thunder Rosa could win, theoretically. But I think Thunder Rosa needs to be the one who beats Britt Baker.
Yeah.
I think that's the story that's been told.
Yeah, I think Ruby should have this title, and Thunder Rosa should stay in the main title picture.
A lot of promos this week. A lot of like interviews and promos on this
Mhm.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
So I guess
The
if
next,
you're good.
the next match you want to talk about is
Yeah, this one was a scary one. So it was another of the men's world title eliminator tournament matches. It was Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston.
Yep.
This was a really good match. This was really fun. I love Eddie Kingston. He has this dirty style of wrestling. Like he's just like
Yeah.
he cheats. Like the thumb poke to Lance Archer's eye was hilarious because he made this so funny face before he did it. Like the match was great.
How long was the match? Because it seemed kind of short.
Yeah, I don't know how long they intended for this match to actually go on.
Yeah, I wonder if it had something to do with how it actually ended.
Yes, because unfortunately, this is just like a week of like injuries. So much like the Kota Ibushi match, this match had a pretty bad injury angle. So Lance Archer went up for a moonsault, did not get the full rotation, landed on his head.
Yeah, he landed weird. Weird.
I was just like, oh my God, I hope he did not just break his neck.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he got, he rolled out of the ring and he seemed to be able to like stand on his own for a little bit. But it was also one of those things where he rolled back into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Kingston rolled him up. They counted to 3. That was it.
Yeah.
So clearly he was not able to finish that match because I don't think that was how that match was supposed to end.
Yeah, it did end up with a ref stoppage.
Well, the ref didn't stop. This is one of those ones where like the ref got out of the ring and like kind of was checking on him, but like he got back in the ring and then Eddie rolled him up and they counted to 3. So there is something to be said. The way Red Shoes handled Kota Ibushi's injury, that's the way it should be handled. I do think that's how they should have handled this one. I don't think Lance should have got back in that ring.
Yeah, because that landing was nasty looking.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where it's just like, look, Eddie's just win. I'd rather you be safe. Don't get back in the ring. Just end it. They kind of had some issues with this during that Matt Hardy Sammy Guevara match, where Matt busted his head onto the concrete floor.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They continued the match where it's like, no, that should not have continued. Yeah. And I think it's because Matt was like, no, I can go. I think this was the same thing. Lance being like, no, I can finish this. And,
but
yeah,
hopefully we'll see. I mean, we did get an update from his Twitter that it seems like it's not as serious as it looked.
I'm hoping that the worst it is maybe a concussion. Like I don't want him to even have a concussion, but like if it is something serious, I hope that's all it is, and I hope like his neck, because like you can come back from a concussion easier than you can come back from a neck issue.
For sure.
But yeah, that's kind of like sucked a lot of the wind out of my sails.
Yeah, and that was rough.
It didn't help that they then immediately followed it up with a Men of the Year Dan Lambert segment.
Yeah. Oh, and then the next match we got was Jungle Boy and Brandon Cutler. I don't want to talk about that match.
I mean, I guess we're gonna get more Adam Cole and Jungle Boy. I guess that's
that's what you take away from that. I think I've said it on the show before. I just really don't like what they've done to Brandon Cutler.
I mean, a comedy character.
They've turned him to a joke, and I liked his character when AEW first started.
Like the D&D.
Yeah, just kind of the nerdy guy, and everybody made fun of him because he played D&D, and then everybody started defending him because they're like, well, I play D&D too. And I don't know. I liked that angle, and then they just turned him into this goofball joke okay, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It just upsets me. I mean, I'm not saying Brandon Cutler is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I don't like that they took him from something that was a little bit interesting and just turned him into doofus.
Would you say that being on TV as a comedy lackey for the Elite more frequently is better than never being on TV with his previous gimmick? I don't.
I will give you that. I
He
just wish it could have been. I mean, they could have. Yeah, I suppose. At least he's on TV.
he's getting a payday. That's the way I view it.
Yeah, and but that was even the match was just kind of lame. He just
Yeah.
It
was just a short little squash too.
Just
I mean, it was to get, I was saying Jungle Boy needs some wins, so they were like, well, let's give him a win.
Let's give him Brandon Cutler.
Yeah.
So then, the main event of Dynamite was another really good match, I thought.
Yeah. We have Cody versus Malachi Black 3. This is the third time.
Yes.
So, match. I'm going to keep it strictly match based first. Incredible match. The match was fantastic. They were hitting on all cylinders. Both men looked fantastic in the match. The crowd was hot for this match. This was just one of those like high energy matches where you could tell they were feeding off of that crowd because like every hit and every strike was like so fast and on top of each other. They did such a good job with this match.
And it was brutal. I mean, they both ended up bloody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but there was a spot that I bet was pretty cool, but I didn't get to see it because it went on the app. Switched to a commercial. So I didn't get to see the table, the crossroads through the table.
Yeah, the picture-in-picture. I got to see because it was picture-in-picture where they're running ads. I hate that they run ads during the main event.
Yeah,
it frustrates me.
It is frustrating. So I didn't get to see a spot which was probably pretty good.
Yeah, it was a crossroads onto a table from the ring apron. It looked great. It was a really good spot.
But both of these guys looked incredible. I mean, that diving double stomp that Cody took. It was like, oh my gosh.
That's one of those wrestling moves. Like Finn Balor does it all the time as the coup de grace. Like it's one of those wrestling moves where I'm like, that looks horrible. Like to take that move, I would be terrified. There's like, I don't want double stops.
I wouldn't want to take it in general. Because I'm a wimp, but I definitely would not want to take it from Malachi Black. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, because he's heavier than Finn Balor too. And Finn does this thing where it looks like you can tell he's like doing that thing where the second he makes contact with you, he's bending his knees up. Yeah. So like he's not putting the full weight. This looked like he literally was stomping on him.
And Arn Anderson kind of got into it because Andrade came out too and looked like he was going to try to. At this point, when Andrade came out, I actually thought, well, Cody's going to lose again because I thought it was going to throw him off and he was going to get distracted. But then, of course, and this was either before Andrade came out or around the same time. No, I think it was before when Brock. Anderson and Lee Johnson came out.
Because Malachi Black had gone for a chair out from under the ring. And so, Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson came out to kind of keep things even.
Yeah, but then, what I was getting at is Andrade came out, and then that was when Anderson kind of got more involved. He ended up taking out his assistant with a spine buster.
Because Andrade's assistant got involved in the match. Arn does a spine buster on the assistant, and then Malachi Black sprays Arn in the face with a mist.
Right. Yeah. I'd have to say this was probably match of the night.
Yeah, it ramped up in just the perfect way.
Yeah.
So good.
I enjoyed the Dustin and Bryan Danielson match, but I really think that this one was the match of the night. Perfect main event.
So, did you notice too, whenever Cody went in and had Malachi in it was the setup for the Tiger Driver 98, but it sets up identical to the Pedigree by Triple H.
Yeah. That's actually what I thought he was going to do.
I saw that, and I wished he'd done the Pedigree.
Yeah.
Because okay. So here's the big thing. Cody wins this match. The crowd was not happy. The crowd has been booing Cody for a while now. They want him to be a heel. He's insisting on not being a heel. Was this a mistake to have Cody go over as a supposed babyface?
I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with him the way he is.
So, I guess the idea becomes, I think he's a better heel. His heel work is fantastic. He turned babyface due to the feud with Dustin and Nick Aldis. Like, those feuds were what turned him into a babyface. He's also the EVP of the company, one of the EVPs of the company. He has, other aspirations outside of wrestling with his reality show and the game show. So I understand his desire to want to be a babyface because it just goes along better with those optics. The concern I think a lot of fans have is that they're worried that he's going to become another Triple H or John Cena. Like, John Cena was famously a babyface while the audience wanted him to be a heel very badly, to the point where he's booed constantly. And while I am not going to complain about that match because that match was just too good, that reaction, you don't want this to be another Roman Reigns thing.
Oh,
you don't want this to be another Super Cena wins the day again, thing. I think I'm fine with him winning this match, but I think he needs to go heel, and he needs to do it soon. Because the audience isn't gonna... AEW prides themselves on doing what the fans want.
Yeah.
It's kind of listening to the fans and what they say. So I think because the audience is demanding and he turns heel, I think we should do it. I think the way to do it is just have him turn on Pac, and then, he gets to be a heel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty easy out because they very clearly are setting up. This feud's not over. It looks like we're going to get Andrade and Malachi Black versus Pac and Cody.
Yeah.
So I think it's time. I think Cody needs to go heel.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea.
There are plenty of baby faces in that company right now.
There really are. Yeah, you're right.
I was reading online a lot of the comments, and people, especially Twitter, were very upset that Malachi lost that match. And I'm not mad that Malachi even lost the match. I'm just, I would like to see him go in a more other direction. But
yeah, I'm not mad that he lost it, because it really didn't make him look weak.
No, of course not. I did see a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're burying Malachi Black," and I was like, "Have you seen his presentation? His presentation has been phenomenal from day one. He's been treated as a killer. He's losing one match is not a burial."
Right.
Cody got his win back. He lost 2 of those matches already. So Cody got his win back. That's fine. Malachi's not buried. This feud's not over. You could transition to another really great feud. Yeah. Was Malachi Black involved in something else? He was involved in the Pac match with Andrade. So yeah, that's what that feud is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's how I feel. I don't think this is a burial. Malachi's going to be just fine. He's going to move into another program that you're going to like a lot more anyway, I think. And I think Cody needs to go heel.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think we've come to that portion of the show where we've got our top 5 list.
Yeah.
So, bouncing on what we talked about earlier, we've got a list of 5 wrestlers from any promotion that we'd like to see in the G1 Climax. Only stipulation being they can't have been in the tournament before. Now, originally when I did my list, it was very AEW heavy. Because that's where most of the wrestlers that I like are at right now. But we were originally going to be doing this list last week, but then we didn't have a show. So that extra week actually brought up some more ideas. So what I did is I split my list in half and I chose I actually chose 3 AEW from my list, AEW wrestlers, and then 2 from another promotion. So I did I tried to mix it up a little bit better.
Yeah, I tried to pull from a couple different promotions, and I think I did a pretty good job of getting a variety of promotions.
Yeah. Didn't Dave have a list?
Oh, did he give us one?
I thought he did, but I don't remember how long ago it was. I don't think he emailed it to us. I can tell you that I'm pretty sure Cesaro was on his list.
Yeah. I have a couple different emails from Dave, so
that's the only one I can remember that he mentioned in his top 5. I know Cesaro's. I'm trying to look at our message. We have a chat group with him and trying to see if it's in there somewhere. Because I don't remember getting an email from him on this particular subject.
Yeah, I don't know. The last thing I have from him is the wrestlers in AEW from the WWE. So
yeah, I've gone back pretty far in this. I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. Send it again.
Sorry, Dave. Maybe we'll talk about it next time or something.
Yeah. Who you want to go first, or you want me to?
I can go first, and I will start off with one of my non AEW wrestlers. This is a guy who I originally started watching when he was in Impact, and at the time it was it was called TNA still. So he is currently in WWE, and I am referring to Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah. Oh, that would be. Oh, if he could stay healthy in a G1, he would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever done. I don't think he's ever done one. Yeah.
No, I don't think he's ever been in New Japan.
Yeah, I think he just never wanted to stay in, because usually when wrestlers go to Japan, they stay for a while, and I don't think he's ever wanted to stay long enough.
Yeah. I mean, he was in Ring of Honor. I knew that, but I didn't see him when he was in Ring of Honor.
Did he do the Noah run?
He did do Noah. He was in not for very long. I think he did 2 stints in Noah, but he did Ring of Honor a couple of times. But he was in TNA for a good length of time, which is where I got familiar with him. And then, of course, he went to NXT, and then to the main roster, and then I think he went back to NXT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, he was. I'd like to see him in a G1 tournament. I think it'd be fun to watch him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with a WWE guy as well. So I'm gonna pick Chad Gable. I think he is one of those guys that is just like, get out of that company as fast as you can. his NXT run with American Alpha was excellent. He had some good moments on the main roster, especially teaming with, was it Bobby Roode, I believe is who he teamed with. But the Shorty G thing, ugh, gross. But he's an Olympian, or like, right? Did he actually go to the Olympics?
I think he is an Olympian.
I don't know if he's ever medaled, but like, yeah, I wanted to see. He has great conditioning. He's a supremely talented technical wrestler. He would be amazing in a G1 because you need that conditioning, and so yeah, I think he would be excellent.
I can kind of see that. Yeah, he's I'm checking his Olympic. No, he did not medal in the 20.
Right.
He was in the 2012 Summer Olympics, but he did not medal. Yeah, I could see that. I not somebody I would have thought of to show up on my list, but I could see that. My second one, I'm going to switch over to an AEW wrestler so I can kind of mix these up. And this is going to be someone we talked about from a match earlier, and that would be Bryan Danielson. I don't think he's ever been in a G1. I know he was in New Japan for a while, but I don't ever think he went to that. I don't think he ever went to that tournament. And I'd really like to see what he can do with some of the guys that are in there now.
Well, my next pick is Bryan Danielson as well. I also selected him.
All right.
He has actually spoken about he wants to do the G1, and I think there was even like a media thing where he was with Tony Khan, and Bryan was like, "Yeah, I want to do a G1," and Tony like looked at him and he goes, "That's a lot of wrestling." Basically, he's just like, "That's a lot." I don't know that I want you to do that while you still work for me, but yeah, I want to see him in a G1. That would be incredible, especially right now. Like,
yeah,
he's been good his entire career, but he's got this newfound like fire that's just, it's doing wonders for him.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive. Okay, so my next one, I'm going to jump back to a WWE wrestler, and this one is Dolph Ziggler.
Ooh, yeah.
I really like the stuff that I've seen him do when I was watching WWE, and it's just really fun to watch him. I don't think he was. I don't know. It just seems like he's not ever given a really good push in that promotion.
Yeah, he's someone that they could have done such a great job with him and having him like be a star for that company, but the typical WWE Vince McMahon booking,
Yeah.
Can't have anything we actually want. My next pick is also, I'll go with another. I'll just match you where you pick your guys from, and I'll do the same thing. I'm going to pick another WWE guy, and Cesaro.
Okay.
Dave's a big Cesaro fan. I love Cesaro as well.
He is.
he's one of those wrestlers that's just like too good for his particular style. Just is amazing, and his classic WWE booking. He's unsatisfyingly being used in that company. And every once in a while they'll heat him up for something, and you'll get excited. You go, is this the chance? Is this the time? And it never becomes the moment. Yeah. And he's a little bit older, so I want him to do a G1 because his conditioning and his stamina would do so well. And that's kind of the way I made my choices was who are the people who can do a long-term round-robin tournament. Their conditioning has to be really good, and you have to be able to just do it, multiple shows a week.
I hadn't thought of that. So one of the guys that's on my list, I don't think fits that bill. So I think I may trade somebody out.
Okay. I have a weird pick too that may not fit that bill either.
I'll tell you who my pick was after I tell you my actual pick.
All right.
I'm looking at this name, and as much as it hurts me to put this person off the list, I'm going to replace him with Sheamus.
You know what? That would actually be nice. Sheamus is very underrated.
He really is.
He kind of. I guess it's the booking that's made him seem like he's not as good as he actually is, but he's actually a really talented wrestler.
And it would be even better if he was in the same G1 tournament, at the same time that Bryan Danielson was.
Oh yeah. Oh, they could have like a real match.
Yeah. It'd be great to get them together and have an actual match. And just for your own curiosity, if you will, the person that got knocked off was CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if like in a year or two, he seems like he's like upped his conditioning, but I don't know that he would.
I'd like to see him wrestle some of those guys, but I don't think he has the stamina.
No, I think he'd do some great matches one-on-one, but not in that particular setting.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. I have two left. So I'll go next with. This is kind of a weird choice. I'm gonna go with Willie Mack.
Oh man.
He's another guy who I'm like, this guy's underrated.
He really is. He's one of my favorites on that promotion.
Yeah, he's been in Impact. He's done NWA. He's done PWG. He's Lucha Underground, I believe he was involved with too. He's a heavier guy. He kind of fits more of like a Samoa Joe build, maybe. I take that back. He's more of a Cassius Ohno or a Chris Hero build. Like he's got a belly, but he's definitely strong, super strong. Like he can.
Yeah.
He's a high flyer for a heavy guy. I always love that kind of combination.
So let me tell you some. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he's just an excellent wrestler that I have not seen
near
enough of. Yeah.
So my introduction to him, I actually did not know who he was until I watched Bound for Glory 2019. There was a 3-way tag team match for the championship. It was the North, that was Ethan Page and Josh Alexander. And then it was Rich Swann and Willie Mack.
Yeah.
And then it was the third team was Rhino and RVD. And that was the first time I'd seen Willie Mack, and I saw some of the stuff that he was able to do. And a man of his size being able to do some of that stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's I've never really understood why he's never been given a bigger spotlight.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he did recently get hurt, but I don't know if that was, if he was actually hurt or if that was just part of the storyline.
Oh yeah, an angle.
Yeah. But yeah, oh man, I could see that. That'd be great. I'd love to see him get, some kind of push. Put him somewhere. So my last one is a wait a minute. Is this my last one?
I have one more, and you went first, so
Did I
that
go first?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I said him. Okay, so my last one is actually Adam Cole.
I was thinking about him, and I couldn't remember if he'd ever done one before, but I don't think he had.
Nope, never been in a Climax tournament.
He's
I
been in
looked
New
it up.
Japan. He's had
Oh, yeah.
matches, but yeah,
Yeah,
he'd be really good.
He'd be really fun to watch. You know who I'd really like to see him go up against is Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, I wonder if that ever happened. That would be. If it did, it maybe happened in England a long time ago, where neither one of the guys is where they are now. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd love to see him up against him. I mean, there's a lot of guys I'd really like to see him wrestle over there. Yeah. So, okay. So that's my last one.
Okay. My final pick is Nick Aldis.
Oh man, he should have been on my list.
So he's basically like the star of NWA, and as good as he is there, I want to see him do some other stuff. Like he looks like he's got a really good conditioning. He's in amazing shape. The match with Cody was incredible. I want to see him do stuff outside of NWA.
I mean, he doesn't have the title anymore, so
I would love to see him and Okada. Like, to me, those two,
that'd be good.
They're like the golden aces of each company they've been involved with, and
I'd like to see him with Adam Cole.
Yeah, that would be excellent too.
Yeah. I'd like to see him with Bobby Fish.
I'd like to see him anywhere. He like NWA is cool, but it's not necessarily known for its work rate. It's more of like, this is the talking promotion. So characters. So
that's another wrestler. Interesting you bring that up. Bring him up because I mentioned that Samoa Joe. I had the first time I'd seen him was in TNA, and the first time I saw Nick Aldis was in TNA when he was doing the Magnus character.
Oh, correct. Yes, he did. Yeah. I forgot that was his Impact character.
Yeah, and you know who he's married to, right?
Yeah, Mickie James.
Yeah, we just mentioned her when she just won the title.
Yeah.
I would totally. I don't think he's been in it in New Japan.
I looked it up and I didn't see anything. He was at one of those. He was at that G1 Super card, but he wasn't actually in the tournament.
Yeah, he was in Noah for a very short amount of time. He was actually in Noah the same time. If I'm getting my years correct, he was in Noah at the same time. Not only Samoa Joe was in Noah. In fact, he was in a tag team with Samoa Joe. Now that I think about it. And he was in Noah the same time that Kenta was in Noah.
Oh, yeah.
So, oh, man, I could see, my head is forming through all kinds of Aldis matches I'd love to see. Wow.
Yeah, I want to see him show up somewhere else soon.
Yeah. Not necessarily AEW.
No, doesn't have to be. I'll take him. He can go to Ring of Honor and have great matches. I don't care.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our list. I think that's it for us tonight.
Yeah. Another long one.
Yeah, it did go long. We have yet to hit our 30-minute desired time frame, but when we get to talking about this stuff, it definitely we just can't seem to stop.
Right.
But all right, so I guess we will. I would just thank you guys for listening to us, those that do, and be back next week. I hope because we are on a regular schedule of Dynamite now. So
yes, so we should have a regular episode next week.
So we'll have some stuff to talk about hopefully next week.
Yeah,
and have a great week, folks, and enjoy yourselves.
Goodbye and good